Elena, thanks so much. We'll go to you first, and then we'll go to JB Ricks.
Hey, JC, congratulations on the contract. I guess just how exciting is it to get that done and taken care of?
Can you repeat the question? I can't hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Just how exciting is it to get that contract done? Congratulations. Just what is that feeling like to get that out of the way?
Thank you. It feels real good. I was just ready to get back to playing football and focusing solely on football. So it's good to get all that stuff out of the way and just being able to play ball now.
And did you just practice last week because of not having that contract done, or was there any other reason you weren't there last week?
Just following the advice of my people, my agent, and just my job is football, so I leave all the other stuff to the team and my agent, and I just get here whenever they tell me to.
All right, let's go to JB.
Hey, JC, my question was basically similar to what Elena asked, but I'll just go ahead and ask you off the rip as far as how are things going for you with the transition, of training for the NFL, first mini camp and all that. Do you feel yourself in a nice groove so far?
Yeah, I'm definitely just getting better every day. Obviously it's a new situation, new coaches, new teammates, and the biggest thing, a new playbook. So I'm just trying to get better in all those areas every day, and it's definitely getting smoother as days go by.
And what's the biggest challenge that you've seen so far since becoming a professional football player?
That's a tough one. Probably just maybe the names, like remembering everybody's names in the building, getting used to different people, and just trying to memorize everybody's names. That's probably the toughest part for me right now.
I appreciate you. Good luck, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go ahead and go to Will Palacic.
Hey, JC, just from the standpoint of your own learning curve, how much of a learning curve do you feel like it is coming in with as much of a pedigree as you have, but also with all the things you got to learn here, obviously through minicamp?
It's a little bit of a tough transition. Like I said, it's different. It's new coaches, so they might be teaching you a different way than you learned in college. Then it's new plays, and guys are just smarter. So everybody athletic, you just got to try to get that edge in the playbook in the film room. So I feel like that's more of the difference between college and the NFL.
All right. Any other questions for JC? I'm sure there's some others out there, but I want to make sure we go to the people who need to do this. We'll give it just one more minute here. Anything further for JC? All right, Jonathan Alexander has a question. Jonathan, go ahead. Jonathan, you're on mute.
JC, I just got on here, so I know you've been asked this question, but just in case you hadn't, now how did it feel to finally, get a deal signed and actually be official?
Yeah, it feels good. Like I said, just being able to focus solely on football now. Got all the business stuff out the way, so I'm just ready to play ball.
What are some of your biggest goals, kind of this off season, heading into the year? What do you really want to be able to do, before the season?
Really just getting as good as I can. Right now, my main goal is the playbook. I feel like you play way faster, and more confident. You have more confidence when you know the playbook inside out. And that's kind of my main goal right now, just getting the playbook and diving in on that.
All right, looks like we got a few more. Let's go to Christian Agasirk and then Steven Toronto.
What's up, JC? Congrats on the deal, bud. Have you been, I know it's only been one practice, but have you been talking to other guys in the secondary, just kind of getting the feel of the room? You've been hanging out with any of the guys? What's it been like so far?
Yeah, we actually been together for a couple of practices because most of our DB room was here. So it's been great, getting a chance to learn from guys like A.J. Bouye or Rashawn Melvin, seasoned vets. Dante also learning from him. Just asking him 1,000 questions. I'm sure I'm getting annoying to him, but I'm just trying to learn as much as I can because you know those guys done did it for a long time, and that's where I'm trying to get to.
Any of those questions you can share with us, what you're asking them?
It's little stuff. Just looking at, like, for example, I was watching some of AJ tape when he was in Houston, and I kind of came up to him and asked him a question about one of the plays, and it kind of like took him off guard, like what you what you was doing watching that film. So just little stuff, you know. I watch a lot of those guys film and just try to get little pointers and stuff from them.
Appreciate it, bud.
Hey, JC, I thought I heard Matt Rule say after practice today that it looked like you needed to get your wind back in you after being off the field for a while. Can you tell me where you are from a conditioning standpoint and some of the things that you were able to do while you were away from the team the past couple weeks?
Yeah, I ain't hear Coach Rule say that, but for me, it's just same thing. I feel good. You know, I felt good as I did when I left. The tempo picked up in practice a little bit, but for me, it was just staying in shape, running, doing conditioning stuff, you know, just being ready when I came back.
All right, David Newton, please.
Hey, JC, David Newton, ESPN.com. A couple things. Was there something you were looking for in your contract that maybe took longer than you expected it to get it done?
No, I don't know, man. I was just waiting on my agent to tell me when I can come back. I can't answer any of the contract questions because I don't know.
Okay. Well, maybe you can answer this. So, like, who on the offensive side has most impressed you as a defender?
Probably just seeing Christian McCaffrey in action. Like, man, so fast, so explosive. And, like, seeing it on tape is one thing, but when you can see it, like, right in front of your face, it's 10 times faster, but probably him.
Were there some times you were matched up with him before you were gone or even the day that like just sort of blew your mind that you can remember?
Nah, not really matched up against him, but just running to the ball and I see him freeze a dude or make a move. It's just like real fast and explosive, and I'll just be mind blown when I see it every time.
Can make a defensive back break an ankle, maybe.
Yeah, he been doing a lot of that.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we got time for, I guess, one more for JC. So let's go ahead and go to Joe Person. Joe, take it away.
Hey, JC, good to talk with you. Were you in Charlotte during your time away? Did you go back to Atlanta? And, was that kind of a tough time or just sort of a necessary time?
Nah, man, I was in Charlotte. It was cool. It wasn't anything that was bothering me. Of course, I miss being out there playing football, but it's just business is business. And, you know, like I said, I just try to stay out of it, stay prepared, and just be ready when I was able to come back.
All right, JC, thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
to start with Hassan Reddick. Thank you.
Hey, Hassan, great to see you again. How easy or how difficult is it to evaluate the group that you're in, given that you guys are just running around in jerseys and shorts right now and you're not really playing football just yet? How tough is it to evaluate, and how good can you guys be from what you've seen if you can evaluate it?
It's really tough to evaluate because at the end of the day, like you said, we're running around in jerseys. This game is played in pads. So of course nothing's full tackle or anything like that. Not even full contact. So everything is basically a technique standpoint, getting the technique down. But from the things that I have saw, there has been a lot of guys making plays. It's really encouraging. To see guys still flying around, having fun. You just hope that it transfers over when we get the pads on, You want to see the guys that's making plays still be those same guys when the pads get on.
All right, we'll go to Will Pelagic, followed by Christian Ottosert.
Hey, Hassan, obviously you have a lot of experience with Coach Rule. How is he similar to what you saw back in college, and how is he different?
Pretty much similar. Coming back, I remember my first day when virtual meetings had started, hearing, some of the same stuff that I heard when I was at Temple. And it's good to see because it's worked for him, as a coach, and getting players to buy in to the process, getting, players to understand and build a culture. It's worked for him. It worked at Temple, it worked at Baylor, and evidently that's how he got here. So why not continue to carry it? Why not continue to bring it over with you? As far as the things that's different, I want to say he's sort of a little bit more relaxed. At certain points he's a little bit calmer. And I think that's due to the fact that he understands that he's dealing with veteran players. He has veteran players, and he has guys that's made it to the, he's now coaching guys that's on the highest level of football. It's different from college, coming into college from high school and, trying to establish yourself an identity and things like that. Some of that's here on a higher level, but, this is the higher level. It is the NFL. It's top tier. So I feel like he's a little bit more calm or a little bit more relaxed. He's not so hard on the players like he was when he was in college.
Thank you.
Son, good to see you, man. Obviously, this time last year, we weren't doing any of this. Is there any sense of return to normalcy already? Are you thinking things are back to normal, at least on the field, or are they still a little off?
On the field, now that we're out here and we're practicing, and like you said, we weren't out here last year. Last year, we were pretty much doing it on our own. So to be out here, it is kind of like an OTA feel, and it feels good, man. It does feel good. It kind of feels strange after being able to have OTAs off, but to be here, especially for a guy like me who's here on a new team, so to be here and to be able to come in now and get to know the guys before training camp, before we get ready in the season, I can get ready to I can start building bonds with guys now, and start building my presence here on the team as a leader. So the fact that we're having OTAs, I think that's great.
Appreciate you.
All right, David Newton, please.
Hey, Hassan, David Newton, ESPN.com. Good to see you. I wanted to ask you, from what you've seen of Sam Darnold out there, what has impressed you the most about what he's done so far? What do you feel like he needs to work on, just from an edge rusher who wants to get to the quarterback?
What I've liked so far is, Sam he's completing passes, and he looks like he's playing intelligent football. As far as the things he needs to work on, that I don't know. I am concerned with getting to him most of the time. And I'm not a quarterback coach. I'm not a position coach. And I don't play football on the offensive side of the ball. So whatever he has to work on, that would be between him and the coaches. But as far as things that I saw that I have liked, he's completing a lot of passes, and that's good to see.
And also want to ask you on the defense, just the
I know you can't talk about what you guys can do because you haven't been in pads, but just the overall talent around you right now. What's the potential?
Not to sound cliche, but I do think the sky is the limit here, man. We have a lot of great young talented players, and we have some veteran players that's done a lot of great things in the league. So if we can get the veteran players, to show the younger guys how it's done, then we can get the full potential out of the young guys, and they'll be big assets. I do believe we have a lot of young guys with a lot of talent who can be big assets. Just have to put it all together.
Thanks a lot.
All right, let's go to Vincent Richardson and Darren Gann.
Hey Hassan, it's Vincent Richardson from the Riot Report. Some of the coaches have mentioned, as well as your ability to get after the pass rusher, that you also have the flexibility to drop into coverage at times, and we've seen that from Brian Burns last year, and the flexibility they have across the defense. I mean, Phil Snow talked about the ability to give multiple looks from effectively the same personnel groups. Could you talk about how that looks from a player's perspective when you're on the field, and the fact that you can slip into different roles from the same group?
I think as a player on defense, it's a great thing because now we're putting a lot of strain on the offense, Now they're trying to figure out when guys aren't in their usual positions, and now they see a guy who usually has his hand in the dirt or usually on the line of scrimmage, and now he's off the ball. You don't know if he's going to be covering. You don't know if he's blitzing, and the fact that we're going to show him everything is just going to keep, help us keep the offense guessing. And I think that's the best part about it. To be honest, is that we're going to cause some confusion, have a lot of guys doing things differently and making plays.
Hassan, you mentioned how young this team was with so many guys, and how valuable is it this time of year to get to know like a Brian Burns as a person and to meet all these people and figure out what makes guys tick?
It's very important, right? Because they've been here, right? So I wasn't on the team last year. Last thing you want is a guy coming in and just trying to tell you what to do, or unless you're a young player who wants to be great, you know what I'm saying? But it's hard to just come in anywhere and just start giving out advice and start trying to take on. You need to build relationship with these guys and show these guys that they're able to look up to you as an example, or that they're able to come to you and talk to you for advice, whether it be on or off the field. You want to be able to show these things. So to be here now in person is a head start on that. Like I said earlier, I get to establish myself. I get to be around, laughing, joking, building the bond with these guys so that they know, okay, Hassan, he's serious. He's serious about ball. He goes out there, he puts in the work. You can see it. And, hopefully I want to be like Hassan, or I want to be better than Hassan. So how can I pick his brain, and go to him and continue to get advice and things like that? I think it's a comfortability thing.
All right, we got a couple more here. Let's go to Steve Reed and Steve in Toronto.
Hassan, some of the teams around the league didn't do these mini camps. Come about with you guys as players, obviously had full participation out there today, and how
we lost you a little bit there, Steve. If you're still here, let's take another shot at it, or we'll come back to you after we go to Steven.
Will that be? The second part of the question is, how excited are you to play opposite Brian Burns?
Hold on, I'm sorry. Can you go back to your first question? You had cut out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The first question was, a lot of teams around the league had not decided not to do mini camps. You guys did. How important is that, being a young team, that you guys are all together? And the second part was playing opposite Brian Burns. How excited are you to do that?
For the first part of the question, it's very important. I feel like for the people, for the teams that didn't, especially guys, as you've seen in the off, free agency, a lot of different people went to a lot of different places this year, right? So the fact that, we have minicamp, it gives people like me, new to the team, new faces to the team, a chance to come in, get a head start on the, on the playbook, and also with bonding with teammates and coaches. For the teams that didn't do that, I think we have a head start on them. to be honest, because they'll be doing all of this in training camp while trying to learn football, where we're putting in the work now for several weeks, 4 or 5, however many weeks this has been. We have a jump start on that. And then as far as playing, opposite of Brian, man, I think that's it's special, man. When you look at the talent between me and him, it should be scary, and it's nothing to take lightly, and it's crazy because I look at him and I say, the edge. I feel like on the edge we're going to be good, but then you also look at the interior, man, and the talent that's there. So I would definitely be worried, if I was other offenses, because we got some guys that's going to go out there and get it. As a front seven and across the D line, we got some guys that's some dogs.
Hey, Hassan, I wanted to ask you about your 5-sack game against the Giants last year. I know you had some ups and downs during your career in Arizona, and I remember that game, and I remember how emotional you were afterwards because of that having that individual performance, in Jersey, basically in your backyard. And that being kind of the culmination of your Cardinals career. Now, having done that and having had the season you had last year, what are some of your individual goals as you join the Panthers and move forward with this second opportunity?
Just to continue to build, my main goal is not to be complacent. A lot of people, whether it's in football or, life, just life in general, people have success and then they get complacent. This is what separates, the top people in the world from the people that's not, sorry to say. But people get it complacent in life. They have a little bit of success and they think it's okay to take off, to fall back off the gas pedal and things like that. For me, I just want to continue, I want to be better than I was last year. So if I have any goal, it's just to come in and be better than I was last year.
All right, we're coming up on time here, so I'll go ahead and give the last question to Elena Getzenberg at the Observer.
Thanks, Ryan. Hey, Hassan. I was curious, as you've kind of been learning this defense, how much of it is similar to what you did? Like, how much of it is familiar?
A lot of it is familiar. Some of it is plays that we ran when I was college and I was actually under Phil Snow. And then a lot of plays is just, it's kind of similar to, what I did in Arizona. And I think, that was the understanding behind me coming here. Rule and Snow, they know what they could do from a personal level. They've been around me. And then for what I also done at Arizona last year, I felt like they thought that I could come here and build off of that and help, like I said, continue to create that confusion and mismatches on defense for the offense. So it's a lot of it's familiar, some of it is new, but I like it. I really like where we're headed, and I really like the stuff that we have and have installed so far.
Great. Thanks, Leonard, for that last one. Hassan, thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of y'all day.
Berg.
Robbie, I guess in general, just could you talk about what it was like being back out there again today after missing some time, and kind of what led you to make the decision you did about being away?
I mean, I felt like, personally, not going on my 6th year, and then, judging like last year, I feel like I'm like to the point of my career, I know how to get myself ready, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like, nothing against the team or nothing like that. I'm just trying to I feel like capitalize on the time in the off season. I feel like it was like the work I was putting in with my trainer, I was on a good program, you know what I'm saying? I didn't really want to step away from that from a personal aspect, and my coaches and nobody had a problem with it. So I just felt like I wasn't doing that wrong. I was working, you know what I'm saying? So
what was your emphasis in those workouts? I mean, what were you focused on trying to get better at during that time?
I don't want to really disclose my personal goals and things like that. I'd rather show.
Okay, we'll go ahead and we'll go to Elena.
Hey, Robbie. I was just curious for you, with the entire team coming back, were there times at all that you were like, oh, I wish I was out there? Or was it kind of like you wanted to stick to this plan and it was, constant throughout?
I mean, I feel like, at the end of the day, the season is what is what the real goal is. That's what we win at, and it's not like nothing against nothing. That's just, my honest opinion. So, I know like mandatory minicamp was going to come up, and then, training camp and the season and things like that. So I feel like my presence when I'm here is like, it's felt and things like that. And I know like I was working. It's not like I was just sitting around doing nothing, so, or like doing a whole bunch of this and that. So, I mean, nobody within the building and the guys have no issue with everybody's happy to see me and didn't express that. So, I'm just trying to, I know the best that I am, the better I can be to everybody in my life and team and things like that,
And then I know DJ said he kept in touch with you almost daily. Was he anything in particular he was telling you about how things were going while you were away?
No, I mean, not like too much. We communicate. I'm not going to disclose our personal brothership,
All right, David Newton.
Hey, Robbie, good to see you. Sorry, I had my mic off. Wanted to ask you about being reunited with Sam and what's that like? And the follow-up on that, what do you think it'll do for Sam to be in a smaller market and not that big market of New York City where he was under the spotlight?
I mean, I don't really. I think me and Sam, I think when I walked in the building and just, viewing him, I see like a new energy out of him, like, like a glowing charisma that I didn't really see in New York. I don't really market, small market, big market. I don't really can't answer that 100%, but I can view, a difference in him so far. So.
And what are some of those differences besides the charisma?
I mean, you could just, when a person, like, you can see like a glow on them, their energy, their aura, I can kind of view that when I walked in the building and, just being around them.
All right, Joe Person and Will Palachik.
Hey, Robbie, good to see you. On Sam, wonder if you think there's anything in this system, in Brady's system, that will be a better fit for him potentially than what you guys ran in New York.
I mean, it's definitely a completely different system. So I can't really like say like exactly what the difference are. I'm not gonna make no prediction or anything like that, but it's just different. I think the New York system was a little more complex and had a lot of nuances and things like that. That was like, more difficult for everybody, not just him, not just me, like just all in all. But I think this system's a little bit more graspable,
And just a quick follow-up, Matt mentioned today hoping to get you guys kind of, especially you with Sam, getting vertical, that he thought, that as good as your season was last year, that maybe they did not get you vertical enough. Is that something you guys were pretty successful in New York, and are you excited to do more of that?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, my game in New York was like, more down the field and vertical, but I didn't have the intermediate opportunities. I think with if Coach Rule's expressing that, and then you mix that in with what I did last year, I think that's something to look forward to.
Robbie, I know this is kind of hard to answer just before you get on the field together when you get pads and play a game, but how do you feel Sam might extend or even just flourish what might happen for you come this offseason, knowing that this is a contract year for you?
I think things like that is I don't think that's really in Sam's control. I think, things like that, like, I'm a believer in what's meant for you comes from God. So I don't feel like no man, no individual, like, controls like your destiny besides like the work you put in. And then if that's what's meant, that's gonna be, so. And then that's management and people upstairs, that's their decision.
We'll go to Steven Toronto and Vincent Richardson, and then we'll start to finish up. So Steven, please, and then Vincent.
Hey, Robbie, on the subject of the New York questions, you guys actually do play the Jets in week 1. I was wondering if you have that game circled on your calendar, and then also there have been a bunch of changes up in New York since you last played there with a new coaching staff, etc. So for the sake of the guys that who are still up there, do you have confidence or optimism that things will be different for them?
Well, for the Jets?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. That's not really my concern, honestly. I play for the Carolina Panthers, so I mean, obviously things gonna be different for them. They have a new coach, new players, so I mean that's kind of like a telltale, but not really like my business.
Hey, Robbie. Some of the coaches have talked about sort of your flexibility and your ability to play both in the slot and outside, and how they can move you around to create some matchups along with the other guys. Do you have much of a preference in terms of slot versus outside, and is there a different approach that you take between the two positions?
In the slot, it's like I get more jiggy. I could do all that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like the slot is like, to me, I have more fun playing in the slot, for real, to be honest. Cause like when outside is cool and all, but I don't know. I like to get the ball in my hands and be able to make things happen. Outside I can obviously do that, but the slot is like, I don't know. I like both. I like playing receiver, but I just I like to make plays.
In terms of sort of getting vertical and stuff, does it make it easier to get vertical from the slot if you're not necessarily getting pressed as much, or does that not make much of a difference?
That's hard to say. It just depends on the coverage and things like that.
All right, looks like we got one more from Jonathan Alexander. We'll go there, and then let Robbie be on his way. So Jonathan, take it away.
Hey, Robbie, hope you're doing well, man. Yeah, no problem. After last season, you of course you have best year of your career. What do you think you were able to either prove to yourself or and others? How pleased were you with last year, and how do you build off that going forward?
You said, I'm sorry, what was it? I was kind of like loud in the back. I'm sorry.
Hey, my fault. I'm just wondering, after having the best season of your career, what do you think you were able to prove either to yourself or others? And then how do you build off last year?
Well, I think I was given more opportunity. I think in life, the more opportunity you get, you can either succeed or fail. So I just think I was given more opportunity. I was putting in work, chemistry, and just positive things. And I think just me as a person this year, the better I am as a person in life, you know what I'm saying? I feel like the better I be in every aspect. That's what I'm a big believer of that. So, I just been, just working on me and finding ways to get better and setting my goals and every day just, working towards that and staying focused. So I think I'm a believer in, one thing I seen with me is whatever I put my mind to, I'm capable of doing. I just got to stay to it, so, my goal this year is to have a better year than last year, and I've been having a better offseason than last year, so I'm pretty sure that the results will come within that.
Robbie, thanks so much for taking the time. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
We'll go first question to Elena Getzberg at the Charlotte Observer.
Thanks for the intro, Ryan. Hi, Cam. How are you doing? Good, thank you. I saw you've been dealing with some injuries. Just what's kind of going on right now? It's been holding you out of practice a little bit.
This is just the off season. You can ask Coach Rule if you want clarification, but it's just the off season. Just trying to make sure that I'm ready to go for the season. That's it. Nothing major.
And I guess just so far, how has for you, just how these? I know, like you said, it's early, but just how have things been going? How does it feel to be in the building and working with this group?
Man, it feels great. It's definitely good to get in here and know my new teammates, and that's been the biggest part of it all for me. Just meeting guys, building some camaraderie, and just learning the system.
Let's go to Jonathan Alexander.
Hey, hey, Cameron. I hope you're doing well, man. You've been around the league for some time. I wonder, how does this team compare to other teams you've played on, as far as talent wise, and what you think you all could possibly do this year?
It's hard to compare any one team from year to year. Every team, whether you're on the Panthers for 5 years straight, whether you're on the Cowboys, the Chiefs,
every individual team every year is different, so it's hard to compare. I mean, every team that I've been on is very talented, but this one specifically has a lot of guys that are very, very talented. A lot of young guys, ready to produce in the NFL. You know, me myself, I'm a product of one of those guys who had to have a fresh start. Early in my career, and seeing guys like Sam come in here and get another opportunity. I mean, you see the level of talent that he has, and that's just one example. But overall, I mean, the sky's the limit. It's all about preparation, execution, and getting guys to be on the same page. That's the biggest thing. That's what we have to build here to be successful.
Let's go ahead and go to Will Palachik and then Joe Person.
Hey, Cam, I don't know how much they told you about just the position you're in, but left tackle's kind of been a revolving door here the last couple of years. How strong do you feel that spot is for your team, and how motivated are you to try and, bring some solidarity to that position that hasn't had it for a while?
I mean, it feels good to come in and be given the opportunity to play left tackle. Nothing's given. Everybody on this team is competing for everything, but left tackle is where they've told me that I'm going to play. So, I mean, it's been a revolving door, but it's been a lot for me as well. So, just personally, just looking forward to getting out there and actually competing.
Cam, on that same topic, is it nice to know? I mean, I think when we talked to you when you signed, you weren't sure exactly where you were going to end up, but to know you're going to at least go to camp and, slotted for that left tackle spot, is that, kind of nice for you to know with heading into it?
I mean, it's definitely good to know what they want me to do here, how they see me. My whole career I've kind of been labeled as a jack of all trades, and now I'm getting the opportunity to go out there and play a position that I feel like I can excel at. I mean, there's ups and downs, obviously, all the time, but that definitely feels good to have clarity.
And as a follow-up, are you anticipating being healthy for the start of camp? And do you feel like you'll go to camp as the front runner at left tackle?
Yes, I will be healthy for camp, and to my knowledge, yes, sir.
All right, next question to PJ Morales from the Charlotte Observer.
Hey, Cam. Nice to see that you're doing well. My name is PJ. Just wanted to ask you, you get to the Panthers, you meet guys like Matt, Taylor, John. How do you think you're fitting in with the whole offensive line core as a whole?
I feel like I'm fitting in pretty well. I mean, this is a really great room to be in. There's a nice mix of guys who are, older and younger, so, you can kind of meet up in the middle. Everybody constantly learns from everybody every day, so that's one of those things you look forward to coming to work and doing. I've learned a lot from my guy Taylor already, so that's there's no age limit on leadership. There's no age limit on you can always teach old dog new tricks, and I mean in this room I'm one of the old guys, so learning from those guys and continue to try to add to them as well. I mean, that's exciting.
Yeah, and then just as a follow-up, how important do you feel someone like Taylor is to just the composition of the offensive line, the leadership he brings, just how valuable is he?
I mean, we joke around, man. It's always a blessing to get paid what you deserve. We call Taylor franchise around here, so we call him franchise. So I mean that we have fun with that part, but I mean he definitely brings a lot of leadership, man. He by play, obviously, he's played at a high level these last few years, and just being one of those guys that you can talk to in the locker room. There's a lot of little things that go into being a leader and affecting guys in a positive way. And from my time here, he's done nothing but that.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's go to David Newton and Steven Toronto.
Hey, Cam, David Newton, ESPN.com. You mentioned fresh start for you and people like Sam. Going from a larger market like you have, Sam, to a smaller market like Charlotte, is that help at all in getting restarted, jump start, I guess?
I don't look at it in that aspect. I look at it as far as the organization and the team and the opportunity. The NFL is a business where you're going to be seen regardless. If you do well, of course you're going to be seen. But if you do bad, you're going to be seen as well. So it's all about the opportunity. Sam specifically, and like I said, I just used that as an example earlier.
Right.
But Sam, he's a young guy. He's maybe 25 years old now, going into
Not even that.
24. And he's going into his fourth year in the NFL. I feel like this guy has elite arm talent. And it just wasn't the right system for him, whether in New York, whether it may have been coaching, organization, whatever. I don't know. I wasn't there. But for myself personally, I look back at those times for me, and I'm just like, there was always a disconnect when I was in Cleveland. And, when I got to Kansas City, it was, like I said, that was my fresh start. So, that's what I mean in that sense, nothing more.
Appreciate it.
Steven?
Cam, you were asked a little bit about having to play different positions across the offensive line. Last year was interesting for you because you started out at swing tackle, then you had to go to right tackle, then you ended up at left tackle. Can you tell me a bit about that experience in Dallas last year, and do you feel that you were able to grow as a player from it?
I was definitely able to grow as a player because I was taken a little bit outside of my comfort zone in different areas. So I was able to grow and actually help affect younger guys. There was a lot of injuries in Dallas last year, but I was able to grow from the experience in Dallas more so because of just the season we were having, and we took a lot of losses and we lost a lot of good players, a lot of veterans, a lot of great leaders on that team. So it was definitely a trying year, but it was a big stepping stone for me personally because I was able to step out of the guy who was everywhere, was thrown around a little bit everywhere. And, they kind of told me last year when I got to Dallas I was going to be a swing guy. And then injuries, took me to right in camp and then the left end, during the season. So to be able to play those positions, man, to tackle the outside, that's what I've been passionate about my entire career. And like I said, man, just running back to what you guys talked about earlier, just to be able to get that opportunity now is amazing.
All right. I think with that, we'll let Cam go. Cam, thank you for taking a few minutes and talk to these folks.
Oh, thank you.
Have a good one. Thanks, guys. You're quick on it, so let's go ahead and go to Joe Person to start for Taylor Moton.
Taylor, good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
We heard Cam Irving call you the franchise. What do you think of that nickname, and how likely do you think it is you guys get a deal done before the start of the season?
Well, I don't know what's going to happen with the deal situation. Right now, I'm just focused on being the best. Taylor Moton, I can be out on the field, just focusing on camp, getting a little better day in and day out, finding things to work on and get better at. And, they call me what they want. The franchise is definitely a nickname I got to get a little used to. But, just like I said, taking one day at a time.
Are you okay playing under the tag? I mean, that's, obviously you don't necessarily have a choice, but what are your thoughts on that?
Right. Well, I mean, ultimately, I'm just I'm blessed to be in the building. I'm blessed to be a Panther and go out there. I mean, I'm just happy to be out there with my brothers out on the field and be able to play the sport I love at the end of the day.
All right, we'll go to Steve Reed, then PJ Morales.
So, Taylor, to clarify, would you play under the franchise tag this year?
I mean, I'm here in the building right now, so right now I see a reason why not to. But like I said, it's the whole contract situation is just something I talked to about my agent, and for now I'm just focused on being a best football player I can be until minicamp's over, and then through this off-season program, just doing what I can to be the best I can be.
I ask you, you guys had obviously full participation today, and some teams didn't even have mini camps. How much of a benefit is this getting everybody out here for mini camps and especially being a young team?
I think it's a great benefit. I think that whenever we have an opportunity to get reps and get just an opportunity to get everyone together so we can all practice and get better with the playbook on hand, I think it's always a good opportunity.
Hey Taylor, I'm PJ. How you doing, man?
Doing well, and yourself?
Doing pretty good. Yeah, excited to be here. But so I just had a few questions. Obviously, got a lot of guys coming in. You've kind of been a staple on the line for a few years now. How do you feel about the guys that are currently surrounding you, and how are you working with them?
I'm loving the guys. I'm excited to go to war with them week in and week out. And right now, I'm excited just to have the opportunity to get better with them day in and day out. So. It's a great group of guys, and I think I can see the chemistry building day in and day out.
Yeah, and then as far as, on the line itself, what kind of leadership do you think you provide, just having been in Carolina and Charlotte for so long? How important do you think you are to kind of keeping them together?
Me along with Matt, I understand that I've played, the most snaps here among the O-line, so I know that's a role that I got to walk into and accept, and so far I'm just like everything else, along with being a better football player, leadership is something I got to take day by day and just let the younger guys know my own experiences and little tidbits that help me, stay in the building and stay on the field as long as I have, and just want to continue to get better.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Let's go to Jonathan Alexander and then Steven Toronto.
Hey, Taylor. I hope you're doing well. So I think Matt Rule was asked about, the possibility of you playing left tackle. I'm wondering why, if you could explain to us, the average person, why is it not easy to just switch from right tackle to left tackle? And then also, after that, how would your comfortability in doing that? How would you feel about that?
It's definitely different because your footwork is different, your hands are different, the playbook's different, everything's flipped, right? So you take so many pass sets. I played in college, right side, so I'm so used to going one way with my feet and my hips and my hands that it's not as comfortable, obviously, when you got to flip all that in your mind. it's muscle memory. But it's just something that I've come to get more comfortable with reps, and I know that's something that it just takes more and more reps against, NFL D linemen, and going out of my way to make sure I'm doing everything I can. So if I'm ever thrown in there, I'm as ready as I can be if the opportunity ever presents itself.
Hey, Taylor, first things first, you've had a couple different nicknames since you've been in Carolina. First it was Sweatpack, then it was Timo. Now guys are calling you Franchise. What has it been like to have a bunch of people call you a bunch of different things as you've gone along here?
So, Franchise is really, really new. It's mainly been Timo over the past few years. I know when I first got here with Cam Newton, he liked to call me Sweatpack, but for the most part, it's been Timo. But it's okay. I figure out who they're talking to.
And then Matt Rule was telling us about how the difference between left and right tackle isn't what it used to be in the NFL because so many pass rushers now rush off both left and right tackle. How have you seen the importance of your job at right tackle change since you've been in the league, and how do you think it helps your offense and your offensive line, given the way that defenses are becoming more multiple and more versatile in what they do to attack opposing offenses?
I don't like to think of any one position being more important than another, right? I understand that every job is different for sure, but whether you're tackle, whether you're guard, whether you're center, whether you're wide receiver, running back, quarterback, it doesn't matter. In my opinion, if you're out there on offense, you have to do your job, or it could stop a drive, it could stop a play, whatever. So I don't like to think of one job being more important than another. So I think if you're out there game day that you're doing and you're out there on the field, it's a crucial job. So.
All right, let's go to Will Palachik, Vincent Richardson, and then finish off with Joe Person.
Hi, Taylor. Just kind of dovetailing off that and kind of going into kind of some of the guys who are acclimating to left tackle. What help can you give to a guy like a Cam Irving, or even a rookie like a Brady Christensen, in trying to acclimate themselves to what's new with this offense?
To me, it's just I got to see how they set. I got to see how they run block. I got to see a lot of little different things, and I can help tweak little details here and there. Just everyone likes to play a little different. Everyone's a little different, so I can just use my experience and say, okay, well, if I were you and you're trying to do that, maybe change this up if this isn't working, type deal. But other than that, if they have any questions for me, I'm always an open book. And I've gotten to know those guys. Cam Irving, Brady Christian, you name those two guys are tremendous guys, sponges. Obviously, Cam's been in the league a long time. He's learned his fair share of football knowledge, and we bounce things off each other all the time. So we're constantly learning from each other, and even Brady Christensen is another sponge, someone who loves to learn, and I've seen him grow from day one until now. So it's been pretty cool to see.
Hi, Taylor. As somebody who was drafted with a view to having the potential to play multiple positions across the line, particularly sort of guard and tackle flexibility, I was wondering what advice you have had or would have for Brady Christensen, as someone who is again being asked to potentially learn two quite different skill sets at the same time as a rookie.
I think, well, I'm one thing, stay healthy, right? But the next is you got to know what you're doing out there. So as an offensive lineman, I'd like to not memorize a play, but recognizing the entire concept of the play, right? Don't just memorize what the right tackle does on this play. Look at the whole scheme of it, and then that way it doesn't matter if you're a right tackle or a left guard or center. You know how you fit into the system no matter where you're at, and it makes the game slow down as opposed to you just memorizing one position. Now you got to play something else, and then you feel like you don't know what to do, and then you play a little slower, right? So I think one of the biggest things I can say is try to understand and recognize the whole concept of these plays instead of just memorize what you do as this position.
Taylor, Robbie was saying he's noticed kind of a new energy, a new glow. He said around Sam that he didn't necessarily notice in New York. I know you weren't there in New York. Just wonder what your assessment has been after several weeks with Sam.
I believe Sam's a great guy, great leader. Obviously, I don't know much about quarterback play, but I believe in him, and I'm excited to have the opportunity to play with him and protect him.
And then, if you would describe what it's like taking a one-on-one rep pass block against Burns.
He's very elusive, very athletic. Tremendous explosion off the ball. He's got all the tools in his tool belt to be one of the greatest in the game. So he's definitely someone you got to make sure in your P's and Q's for when he's in front of you. You got to block him.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Joe. Thank you, Taylor. Really appreciate you taking time.
Thank you.